So we had a pretty big story that dropped the other day about Iran and basically a hostage release situation that unfolded. And there's something about the story that really annoys me. The way it's being talked about in the media, I find incredibly dishonest. So on CNN here, they interviewed Christie and they talked about this issue. And I want to take what he says, and then I'm going to put it up against the reality for you guys, and you can see why this frustrates me so much. So let's go ahead and dive into it.
Let's get straight to the source tonight with Republican presidential candidate, 2024 candidate, Christie. Governor Christie, thank you for being here tonight. 5 Americans are now on their way home. If you were president, would you have made this deal today?
I would not have made the deal, Caitlin, no. And the idea that Iran would use this money for only humanitarian efforts. Let me tell you what humanitarian is in Iran, Caitlin. That means they cut your hand off before they kill you. That's humanitarian in Iran. This is one of the most barbaric regimes in the world. They are the biggest exporter of terror in the world.
That's not true. Saudi Arabia is the biggest exporter of terrorism. And we have a bunch of idiots still running around blaming Iran for 9/11. They have nothing to do with 9/11. The jihadists that attacked us on 9/11 are Sunni fundamentalists. Iran is a Shia theocracy. If anything, they're enemies. But of course, they just total nonsense.
Biden has given them now $6 billion to go and make mischief, more mischief, dangerous mischief around the world. I wouldn't have made this deal as much as I would have liked those Americans to be home. You cannot give $6 billion to a terrorist state.
This is incredibly dishonest. So let me also show you. Here's what Fox News said about this. Breaking: Biden hands $6 billion to terror sponsor Iran in exchange for detained Americans. What they're not telling you is what Ron Filipkowski says here. Just to be clear, Biden freed these hostages who Trump left to rot and did nothing for. And part of the deal is that he unfroze some Iranian assets we had seized. No U.S. tax dollars used. Something Fox won't mention and their audience won't know. This is what's called a lie by omission. That's what this is. It's a lie by omission. Fox News knows that that's $6 billion. It's not U.S. tax dollars. Christie knows that $6 billion is not U.S. tax dollars. If anything, there's an argument we had no right to take that money in the first place under international law. We seized their funds extrajudicially. Okay, so there's an argument we shouldn't have even been able to take it in the first place, but we did. And so then what the Biden administration decided is, we will give you back your own money that we stole if you release our prisoners. Where's the downside? There is no downside. Well, they claim, oh my God, the downside is they're going to use this for terrorism or whatever. Nonsense. Nonsense. They're almost certainly going to use it for their economy, which of course is struggling under tremendous sanctions. By the way, this same lie by omission happened during the era of the Iran deal, which of course Trump pulled out of and Biden didn't get back into, right? Where they would say, oh my God, we gave them billions of dollars. And they would leave the implication that was U.S. tax money. No, back then too, it was we are unfreezing some of their assets, giving them back their own money. And in exchange for that, we had the IAEA, the International Atomic Energy Agency, go into Iran and do regular checks on their nuclear technology, and they would regulate it to make sure they're not enriching to the point where they can make a weapon, that they're only enriching to the point of you could use it for the nuclear energy for research, or you could use it for power for your power grid. That was the deal. And the thing that's astonishing, and same thing, Ben Shapiro was making the same points on this as well. None of these people, they will literally hide facts from you to try to skew your view of the situation. Right? It would be one thing if you give all the facts and then you explain, hey, here's why I still don't agree with it. That would be one thing. That's what we call, a reasonable disagreement. We're within the realm of that which is acceptable, right? But what you'll notice here is none of the people who are against this will tell you the fact that this is their own money we're giving back to them in exchange for the hostage. None of them will tell you that. None of them. Because they know that intuitively, once you hear that fact, you go, oh, that's actually not anywhere near as silly as I thought it was. That actually seems quite reasonable. So, this should get under everybody's skin, man, because it's just so dishonest. And Christie is pushing that same lie. It's a reminder, by the way, that Christie is only good for what Christie is good for. Namely, running as the kamikaze candidate, right? The kamikaze candidate, I'm going to take out Trump. I'm going to point out how he's a liar. I'm going to point out how he's a criminal. I'm going to be a wrecking ball on that side. That's all he's good for. Because in terms of what he says about Biden, in terms of what his policy preferences are, he's just as bad as the rest of them. And just as dishonest as the rest of them, because I know he has, I'm the straight shooter, I'm the truth teller. Really? Then why did you not lead by telling people this is Iran's own money we're giving back to them in exchange for our prisoners? You didn't do it because it busts up your entire take on the situation. Hey y'all, do me a favor and like and subscribe. It helps out big time in the algorithm. Click the bell as well for notifications when videos drop, and watch that video on screen right now. You know you want to.